We think this is one of the most important charts in investing in the last 20 years, and so much is moving around in this world. What is going on when the administration looks at deficit spending? What are tariffs going to add? What is DOGE going to subtract? We're going to go through all of that here as to what the changes are from 2024 to 2025 in the economy. So again, our favorite chart here, this is deficit to GDP. And as you can see from about 1950 to 1980, we kept this in the 0 to 3% range pretty tightly, which creates only 0 to 3% inflation essentially. Balanced our budget here in the 90s, but look at the trend downward from 2008 on essentially. And we are averaging more like 7 to 8% deficit to GDP spending. That is what is driving inflation. And this chart needs to go higher if we're going to get inflation completely under control. Let's baseline 2024, took in $5 trillion in revenue, spent 7, which means the deficit was 2. Compare that to the GDP of 29 trillion and you get a 6.8% deficit to GDP. If you've been watching our videos and want to invest alongside us,
click the link in the comments, select your brokerage,
search for ticker RVER wherever you buy stocks.
Thank you, and now back to our video.
Let's go through the changes. 2025 baseline, that's 5.1 trillion spending from last year. The tariffs are supposed to add about 300 billion to the coffers of the Treasury. That's a good thing, but we're going to try to pass tax cuts against them. They're supposed to be about $400 billion in this big, beautiful bill. That actually lowers net revenue from 5.1 to 5 trillion. Talk about spending 7.1 trillion last year. DOGE is supposed to help that to the tune of about 300 billion or 0.3 trillion, which would make our net spending about 6.8. Compare that deficit of 1.8 to the GDP, and you get a deficit to GDP of 5.9% versus the 6.8%. But it is far below the 1 to 3% we saw from 1950 to 1980 that created inflation that was slower and more benign. So keep watching this deficit to GDP chart to figure out what's going on with inflation and the U.S. economy. Thanks for watching. We appreciate it. Please hit all the likes and the subscribes. We appreciate all that stuff. And if there's anything you guys want to see,